All right, let's dive into what is, for so many people, the most exciting part of buying a house: the actual search. But, is it really just about scrolling through gorgeous photos online? We're about to find out. And yeah, it absolutely is the fun part, right? I mean, who doesn't love scrolling through listings, picturing yourself in that kitchen or that backyard? It's a total thrill. But, and this is a big but, that excitement has to be matched with some serious focus. That's where the real work, the smart work, kicks in. So let's really get into this idea of fun versus focus. Because honestly, turning that casual online browsing into actually buying a home you love isn't about getting lucky. It's all about having a smart, solid strategy right from the very beginning. So that whole strategy thing, it really boils down to this critical balancing act. Think of it like a scale. On one side, you've got all your must-haves, the things you just can't live without. And on the other side, well, that's the reality of your budget and the type of loan you have. Nailing that balance is what gives you the confidence to act fast when that perfect house shows up. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, funny enough, the most important step happens before you even peek at a single listing. It's all about sitting down and really defining what your dream home looks like on paper. And the best way to do this is with something called the two-list strategy. It's super simple but incredibly powerful. First, you've got your must-haves. These are your absolute deal breakers, your non-negotiables. Things like the number of bedrooms, a certain school district, maybe it has to be a one-story. Then you make your nice-to-haves list. This is the fun stuff, the wants, like a fenced-in yard, a big kitchen island, or those beautiful hardwood floors. Things you'd love, but you could be flexible on. Just separating those two, it brings so much clarity to the whole process. Now, once you have your lists ready, you're not going it alone. This is where your real estate agent becomes your superpower. They do a ton of work behind the scenes that gives you a huge advantage out there. So what does that actually mean? Well, first, they hook you up with instant alerts directly from the MLS, the multiple listing service. That means you find out about a new house the second it hits the market. Second, they act as a filter, screening out houses that just won't work, like ones that can't get approved for certain loans, like FHA or VA loans. And third, they dig into a property's history, looking at things like days on market, which can tell you a lot about how motivated a seller is. That's a game changer for negotiating. And this is so important to understand. Those public websites are great for getting a feel for things, but they're often delayed. Your agent's feed from the MLS, that's the real-time up-to-the-second source of truth. In a hot market, that's the difference between seeing a home and seeing a sold sign on it. Speaking of hot markets, let's talk about that. We need to cover what it really means to be in a fast market and how you can be ready to move not just quickly, but also really wisely. So, how fast is fast? Get this. In competitive areas, the best homes can get snapped up in just 1 to 2 days. I mean, that is lightning fast. You barely have time to think, let alone hesitate. And that is exactly why all this prep work is so critical. You have to be ready to pounce. But being ready to act fast doesn't mean being reckless. This piece of advice right here is pure gold. It is so easy to fall in love with those perfect, professionally staged photos. But a smart buyer looks deeper. With your agent, you have to evaluate the stuff that really matters: the location, the actual condition of the house, and its potential resale value down the line. So let's just quickly run through the checklist for a fast market. 1. Be ready to move fast. 2. Use those must-have and nice-to-have lists to stay laser-focused. 3. Look past the pretty pictures and see the bones of the property. And 4. Lean on the expert analysis and real-time data that only your agent can provide. And that really brings us to the final, most important question. After all this prep, the lists, the budget, getting pre-approved, it all comes down to this. When that perfect home, the one that checks all your must-have boxes, finally hits the market, are you going to be ready?